So this class is presented in voice and in text, and then some visual aids are put on the text board at the front here. And you can left-click on the Firestorm class notes and the kit box, which is near to my left, and get the class notes for all of our classes, as well as a few other goodies. And the class notes get updated on a semi-regular basis, so you may want to grab a fresh copy. These were last updated May the 11th for 4.6.5 release. And to adjust voice volumes, you can go to the COM menu and click on Nearby Voice to open the Nearby Voice panel, and from there you can adjust individual volumes by slider. Before we get started, I'd like everybody to look at the Help menu. So we'd like to point out that all menus and sub-menus will detach and stay open if you click on those double lines at the top of the menu. And this makes it much simpler to check or uncheck options, as well as to remember and uncheck anything you happen to click on either by mistake or if you're just curious to see what it does. And there are a few things that we like to mention in the Help menu. And the first of these is the Firestorm wiki link, which most people can access simply by pressing F1 on your keyboard. And on some Macs and laptops you may need to use the function F1 key combo. So our wiki has documentation on almost every preference and feature in the viewer, plus some pages about lag, cache and basic troubleshooting. Which brings us neatly to my second point, which is troubleshooting. This prompts you to open our troubleshooting page on the wiki, where you find suggestions for problems you might be experiencing. And thirdly is About Firestorm. This opens the About Firestorm window, which shows your system info as well as credits and licensing information. The team members have the ability to ping you for that system info in an IM. And only a team member that you recognises can trigger this request. And an example of the request is shown on the screen now. And if you do get that request, please do choose yes, as the information may help us to help you solve your problems. And it will save us from asking you a ton of questions. So, welcome to the Firestorm Client AO class. If you've got questions about the topic we're on, please put them in the local chat. Text is best during the class, and I'll answer as soon as I can. And please wait until after the class to ask off-topic questions, and we do hold an open Q&A session after classes. Voice is more than welcome then. So the Firestorm viewer has a built-in AO, or animation overrider, and this makes the use of scripted AOs unnecessary, which in turn reduces the amount of scripts you wear, and so server-side lag. So firstly, a brief explanation of the terms as they're used here. So AO, that's animation override or animation overrider, and generally it's a scripted attachment worn as a HUD, containing animations and note cards that, along with the scripts, animate the avatar while it's in certain states, such as standing, walking, flying, etc. And without an AO, the avatar will use the basic default Linden-defined animations. I'm sure you've all seen the Linden duck walk, as it's commonly known. So the Firestorm Client AO replaces the usual scripted AO by duplicating its functions without the script overhead. It in fact uses no scripts at all. Animation set. This is the collection of animations that, taken together, make up any given AO. Animation group. This is one or more animations that serve to replace a single animation state. And examples of animation groups include stands, sits, walks, etc. And all of the animation groups together make up an animation set. And how to activate the AO and open the window depends on your viewer's skin. And for all skins besides the vintage skin, turning the AO on and off by checking or unchecking the box in the upper right corner of the AO button. And you open the AO window by clicking the part that says AO. And for the vintage skin, you turn the AO on and off by clicking the part that says AO, and you open the AO window by clicking the little up arrow on the right side of the button. But regardless of the viewer's skin, you can also type CAO on and CAO off in local chat, but without the quotes there. And I'm having a bit of lag with my note card reader here. There we go. The mini AO window gives quick and easy access to a few basic functions, such as moving from one standing animation to another, toggling sit overrides, and loading a new set of animations. And the basic functions of the AO can be accomplished via the mini AO view. The currently loaded animation set, and referring to the image on screen, the currently loaded set is named TPW test. And by clicking the small down arrow, you can easily select another set. That's if others are available, of course. And if you've not loaded the built-in AO, you will have no sets currently. The wrench icon expands the mini window to full size for greater control, but don't click it just yet. More about the wrench icon shortly. And if you just clicked it, click the down arrow in the bottom corner to return to the small view. And the left and right arrows switch to the previous and next animation in the current group respectively. The sit checkbox indicates whether the AO should override sit animations that are part of scripted furniture. And if this is enabled, the AO will try to force the use of whatever sit animation you have in the animation set, and if it's disabled, then the animation in the furniture will be used. And a note about this, animation priority will always have precedence. If the animation in the furniture has higher priority than the one in your animation set, it will be used regardless of how you have this checkbox set. And animation priority is set at upload and cannot be changed afterwards, not even by the creator, unless the creator uploads again and sets a different priority. And for greater control over the AO, you can click the wrench icon, and this will open the AO window to its maximum size. And the current animation set is shown in the top drop-down. Clicking the down arrow beside it allows for the selection of an alternate animation set, if you have others available, of course. And again, if you've not loaded the built-in AO, you will have no sets. So the check mark to the right of the animation set name will activate that animation set, and you click this if you've picked a new one. Default. You check this if you wish to make the current animation set the default when you start Firestorm. And override sits. This does the same thing as the sits checkbox described previously. Be smart. If this is enabled, the AO will try to determine whether the furniture being sat on has an animation, and if it determines that it does, it will disable the sit in the AO, so the one in the furniture will be used instead. Disable stands and mouse look. If this is checked, the AO will disable stand animations when mouse look is entered, and this can be useful for combat situations, for example. You want to look like you're holding your beautiful gun and not standing around. The plus button. You click this button to manually define a new animation set. And the trash icon. To delete the current animation set, you click this button. Any questions so far? And don't worry, we'll be going over this again in our hands-on section later. Animation group. With this drop-down, you can select an animation group such as standing, walking, running, etc. And having selected one, you can then change the order in which animations are played by using the up or down arrows, which move the currently selected animation up or down in the list. And the trash icon on the right here. Clicking this will delete the currently selected animation from the animation group. This will not delete the animation itself from your inventory, but just the reference to it from the group. Cycle. Enabling this will cause a different animation to be played from the selected group at each cycle time interval. And randomize order. Enabling this causes the animations in the selected group to be played in a random order. And the cycle time indicates how long an animation should play before the next one begins. And reload forces the AO to reload the configuration of the current animation set. And the left and right arrows, this skips to the previous or next animation in the current animation group. And these are the same arrows seen in the mini AO view described previously. And the down arrow on the right hand side, it collapses the full AO window to the mini view, which we've already described. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so let's move on. Now let's talk about preparing to load the AO. So, if you own a scripted AO, type Warden as a HUD attachment, you can get the animations in notecard to transfer to the client AO quite easily, and you can use one of two methods to do so. Method 1, and you can follow these steps if you're in a location where you can build, and it does require the ability to res out. And this is also the method you'll need to use if the animations in the AO are no copy. So, first step is res a cube on the ground. And if you're wearing the scripted AO, detach it. And then cam in on the cube you made, and then drag the AO onto it. The HUDs are normally very small when resed in RAW, and can be hard to see if you're not cammed in. And that's the reason for the cube to give you a target to res onto. So you'd right click the AO you resed out and select Open. And a window opens which will list the contents of the AO, and once this is fully populated, click Copy to Inventory. And this will result in the creation of a folder in your inventory containing everything in the AO, that's scripts, animations and note cards. And if the AO is copyable, you can now delete it. Otherwise, take it back into your inventory and then delete the cube to clean up behind yourself. So next you would locate the folder that was created in the step above. And this folder can be dragged to another folder where it's out of the way but still available, like the animations folder for example. Please do not drag them directly to the Firestorm AO folder in your inventory. The AO itself will make links in there. Original items should not be placed in there at all. Method 2. And you can follow these steps if you're unable to res the AO out in world for whatever reason. So locate the animations folder in your inventory, and it's near the top, and right click the folder name and select New Folder. And type in a name for the folder. And for example, you can give it the name of the AO that you're transferring. And then make sure the AO HUD is Warden and right click it and select Edit. And then click on the Content tab. And once all the AO contents are displayed, select all the items. Click on the top one and then use the scroller to scroll to the bottom and press and hold Shift and click on the last item. Or you can click on the content folder at the top of the tab and drag it to the folder you've created in your inventories. Now, if you're using the first method, drag all the items into the folder you created in your inventory and then close the edit window. Any questions about this so far? If you want to play along with this and make an animation set for the end of the class. Oh, how to make a cube? Well, if you're, you can't do it here because there's no build allowed here. You would go into your build menu, that's the top menu, build, and it would be Control B, and then you'd simply select the kind of like the magic wand icon and just click on the ground. Instantly a cube will appear. It's one of the original mottos of Second Life. It all starts with a cube. It's the default prim, if you like. Okay, well, let's look at loading the AO now. Yes, if you don't have res rights on the land, you can go to any one of several hundred sandboxes in Second Life. You can just search for sandbox in your search facility, or on the world map indeed. So there are two methods for loading the AO. You can either use a note card that's in the Zhao2 format, or you can do it manually. And the manual method requires no note card, just the animations. And multiple AOs are loaded, and you can switch from one to another simply by selecting the set from within the Firestorm AO. And we're going to look at using the note card method. So the note card must be in the standard Zhao2 format. And your copy of the class notes, if you've grabbed one, contains an example of what such a note card looks like here. An example should be shown on the texture board now. So notice how the animation set is in brackets, followed by each name of the animation separated with that pipe character, and lines should not be longer than 255 characters. So you locate the note card that defines the AO, and which you got by one of the two methods described previously. So most AO creators support this format, so you shouldn't run into issues. And if your note card looks like the one in the sample, you can use this AO loaded method. However, it must be noted that some major vendors have extended the Zhao2 format, and thus their AO note card will need to be edited before it can be used in the Firestorm AO. And similarly, older AOs which use the old Zhao format will have to be converted. And unlike Phoenix, the animations in note card do not need to be placed in a special predefined folder. However, they do need to be together in the same place. But once imported, the Firestorm client AO creates a new special folder. That's that # Firestorm # AO. Now this folder is protected, meaning it cannot be deleted, nor items removed from it under normal circumstances. And inside that are several more folders containing links to the original animations. So don't delete the original animations used, or the AO will break. And in the sample note card, the animations in the standing group have been broken up to several lines, so they're shorter and easier to read. And it's best to delete any or all lines containing comments before loading into the client AO. And the comment lines usually start with that hashtag or # character. And to load a note card, you open the Firestorm AO to the maximum, and then drag the AO note card from your inventory onto the Firestorm AO window. And the note card is parsed, or read if you will, and if all goes well, you'll have finished transferring the AO. And then you can select options to apply, like whether this will be the default animation set, whether to override sets, etc. Any questions about the note card method? Okay, I don't see any questions have been typed. Oh, here's Douglas typing one. They're in a box to my left, Douglas. Just left click at it, you'll get them. Okay then, let's look at creating an AO manually. So there's no need to have a prepared AO with a note card to create an AO in Firestorm. You can roll your own if you have animations to use. You can use the animations from a scripted AO. Just use one of the above methods for getting them out of your present AO. So for this, you should have the AO window at its maximum size. So you'd click the plus button near the top right corner to create a new animation set, and you'll be prompted to supply a name for it. So a new blank animation set is created, and make sure it's showing the list of animation sets, and you can now begin to fill it. And it starts with the standing group pre-selected. So in your inventory, you select the animation or animations to be used as stands, and then drag them from your inventory into the AO window. Note here, it's faster to drag them all in at once rather than one by one. And then the AO will process them, and then you can continue. Once you've dropped all the stands in, you can switch to another animation group like walking, and again select and drag the animations from your inventory onto the AO. And you can repeat this for all groups for which you have animations. And then you can select options to apply, like whether this will be the default animation set, whether to override sets, etc. Any questions about the manual method? Okay, so let's talk about AO related options now. So there's one option related to the Firestorm AO in your preferences, and that's turn avatar around when walking backwards. And that's in preferences, move and view, Firestorm. And if this is enabled, when you press the down arrow to walk backwards, your avatar will turn to face the camera. And if it's disabled, then your avatar will walk backwards. And the Firestorm client AO information is stored in your inventory, and is thus usable from any computer you log in on, just like a regular HUD-based AO. And you can find a video of a previous AO class at our YouTube channel there. And there's the following Firestorm AO videos are also available for you to watch. And even though they're based on an old version, we suggest watching them as they do show how to load the AO. And we have Import to AO Part 1, Customizing your AO Part 2, and Options in the AO Part 3. Anybody have any questions at all? Okay then, so that's the class, folks. I'd like to thank you personally for taking the time to come out to the class this afternoon, and on behalf of the entire Firestorm team for using our viewer. It's you, the users, are the reason Firestorm is as popular and well used as it is. So, thank you. And now, if anybody has any off-topic questions they wish to ask, or on-topic, or indeed about anything at all, you can ask me now, and your voice is most welcome. And if you want me to go back over how to extract the animations, or want to load up your own AO, just give me a shout and I'll be happy to guide you through it. Well, a HUD or head-up display can perform many different types of functions. An AO is just an AO as a HUD is just a specialized form of HUD. There are some AOs attachments that are just attachments. They could be built into shoes or jewelry or nails. Any number of things could have AOs in them. Even clothing themselves could have AO poses in them. Yeah, that's a great thing that Northspring points out there, Douglas. You can even use your first AO as a singles dance HUD. Simply, and I recommend that you you load up any dances as a ground set. And the reason for that is that when you're sitting, particularly ground sitting, you become part of the prim that you're sat upon, and in that way you're reducing lag even further because the server no longer has to keep a track of you. When you sit down and become part of the furniture, you're saying to the region, I'm sitting down now, so you don't have to keep notice of where I am or where I might be going, because I'll tell you when I'm standing up again. And when you're standing up, you're creating collisions. So if you load your dances into ground sit, it gives you a secondary advantage, is that because you're ground sitting, you can't be pushed around by griefers and such. You could even load stand animations in there, so it appears as if you're standing. Oh, translator. I don't know much about a translator. I'll have to say I've never used the built-in translator. What I do know for sure is that both the Google and Bing services are subscription only. You will have to pay to use those services. I would recommend getting a free in-world translator, a scripted object. There's a number of them still around. Yes, they're both paid services. Of the in-world translation HUDs, I think that the one called Metanomics, which is probably the best free one that's available. There are others which are paid for. I have maybe in the past when like, but Google Translate is certainly, at least through the viewer, is certainly a subscription service. Well, yes, simple as you could use your client AO. You would simply just drag your animations that you want to play into a new set, and you can play them from there directly, and no play window involved. And you could use your left and right arrows to scroll back and forth between them. I've personally done that method before I discovered how to use the AO myself. I had that method of which I would have a screen full of play windows because I didn't like using scripted HUDs myself. The advantage of playing an animation directly from your inventory is that you can choose to preview it on client side only, whereas the AO will appear in world for everybody to see. So if you wanted to try out those special animations, everybody can see them. Oh, I'm speaking with my voice. You should be able to use it. Have you got? Is it in the right category in your client AO? And also, check in your preferences that you have the preferences chat general, play typing animation when chatting. Make sure that's enabled, otherwise you won't see it.